Hey guys, I'm Devin de Lima. So this week I started thinking about weird things that are just kind of normal occurrences for me here in America. And I started thinking, are other countries like that? And I found that no, they're not. And I really encourage anyone and everyone, no matter what country that you live in, to go and research other countries to see what their customs are, because it'll just like your mind. I've compiled a list of 25 things that I think are just really weird or interesting about America as an American, and I've done some research and seen what other people were saying on different sites, and I wanted to share them with you guys, so let's get into it. Number one is sales tax. Apparently other countries don't have advertised prices without the tax included. So for example, if you're going to buy a pair of jeans that's $29.99, that's exactly what you're going to pay at the counter, as opposed to some random percentage that's added after it's rung up. I've never really considered this. This is really strange. Why the hell do we not just factor that in? Number two is tipping is weird. And it made me think, yeah, tipping is weird. Why aren't we just paying our workers enough money to live without, you know, them having to prove themselves? I mean, didn't they already prove themselves by getting the job? Flags are everywhere. Seriously, I mean, I dare you to walk down a neighborhood street and not see at least one American flag somewhere. And some people will say it's because we're proud. I started thinking, are we overcompensating for something? The Pledge of Allegiance is kind of like a weird cult thing. Seriously, you have children stand up who don't know any better and pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Yeah, no. And everyone knows what the Pledge of Allegiance is, because I almost just kept going because I said it so many times. That's disturbing. Saying that you like someone's accent, as in you don't have an accent. I've read about this before and I guess I never thought about it, but iced tea is apparently weird. Apparently a lot of different countries don't ice their tea, and they're like, what do you mean that you put ice in it and that you drink it cold? Tea is not supposed to be cold, ever. I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to go way off on a tangent, but our gun laws, as well as the fact that your right to bear arms, which is to have a gun, is in the Bill of Rights. You have a right to have a gun? What the fuck? Laugh tracks are used in different sitcoms and stuff on TV to really boost audience engagement, and it started to make me think, maybe this is why people think that British sitcoms are kind of like quote-unquote dry humor. They're not dry humor, they just don't use fake things to try to make you laugh. Okay, I read this one and actually laughed out loud because it's so true, and I've always thought this. Why are college football players treated as like lower tier celebrities when they're just a student who does an extracurricular activity? Like, what? We insist on using the imperial system instead of the metric system. And to be fair, I don't know I can really comprehend parts of the metric system. Like when someone says how many kilometers an hour someone's going, I have to be like, oh, I can't gauge that unless it's in miles. And it makes me really sad because the rest of the world is like able to do that. Using Fahrenheit instead of Celsius. It's pretty much just us, our territories, the Bahamas, and the Cayman Islands. Everyone else uses Celsius. Why? Why do we insist on making things more difficult for everyone? Apparently, jaywalking, which is a common thing where you just cross the street, not actually like in a cross pass, is only illegal in America, and I didn't think about how weird this is that it's illegal at all. I mean, I'm sorry, if I made it across the street and I get hit by a car, I think it's fine. So I'm guessing someone got hit by a car once and just kind of ruined it for everyone. Apparently, in other countries, you can control the water pressure of your shower? Like, what? There's like another gauge. So there's two gauges. There's one for temperature and one for water pressure. And that would be amazing. And also, why doesn't America use it? You could totally like get people to have more higher water pressure, therefore they're using more water, therefore you can charge them more on their water bill. It's consumerism at its finest. Paying for college. Seriously, how can almost every other country in the world figure it out and we can't? I mean, it makes no sense. How am I $100,000 in debt because stuff. The fact that Americans put month, day, year instead of day, month, year. And this is another thing that I don't really think about that often, but pretty much everywhere else in the world it's day, month, year. So why do we insist on not doing that? It's supposed to be like a triangle. Like the smallest amount of time, next, next. Like, why do we insist on flipping everything around? Apparently, our vacation hours and what we earn are the lowest in pretty much the entire world. And we seem to think that that means that we're really hardworking and we're go-getters and stuff like that, when probably the rest of the world just thinks that we're like super weird and high-strung. Apparently, the food portions here are like enormous in restaurants. And I thought this was a weird thing, and I was like, whoa, maybe I just don't get enough food. I don't know, maybe this is something I'm just accustomed to. But then I realized, how many times have I ever had to make a decision that I don't want to get an appetizer because I wouldn't be able to finish my entree or main course? Apparently, the question, how are you, is not just a greeting in other countries, it's a genuine question of how is that person doing, what is going on with their life. Here it's kind of an empty gesture, and that's just a weird cultural thing that I think that if I went overseas and I said, hey, how are you doing? And they started telling me about their life, I'd be like, whoa, this is weird. I read a lot of articles about people asking questions about why there's even space underneath our stall doors in public restrooms. Like, why is that there? Why is that the custom? Why can people walk by and see in between the door? Like, it's... what? Here in America, if you say, oh, really? It doesn't mean that you're, like, surprised or anything. It's just kind of a filler sentence to say in a conversation. But apparently in other countries, that means that you're kind of, like, really challenging what the other person has said. I saw a lot of things of people from other countries saying that Americans are just super loud and really boisterous. And I get it. I get it. As someone who hates loud noises, save me. I heard something really funny that was wondering how such poor television got such consistent airtime. And I don't know, we as Americans, apparently because we don't like taking vacations, we just need to turn off our brain more or something? I don't know. Speaking of which, someone brought up a point about how many advertisements there are for like local personal injury lawyers and things like that, and how strange that is. And like billboards, radio ads, commercials, things like that. And I started thinking, wow, there's no one in America who probably doesn't know at least one like personal injury lawyer's like jingle by heart. This one just made me laugh, but apparently it's weird to have grape flavored things. I don't know. My question is, why is grape always purple? There's no purple grapes. If anything should be purple, blueberries, and don't even get me started on that. These are the issues I care about. And lastly, wearing shoes in your house ever. And I started to think, you know what? Why don't I take off my shoes as soon as I walk in? I'm tracking in a bunch of stuff, but instead I have where my shoe rack is and stuff, not right by the closet. It's like in the middle of my condo. Like, that makes no sense. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I put out new videos every single Saturday. And if you're from another country or you're from America, actually it doesn't matter where you're from, please leave in the comments down below what are weird things that happen in your country. Or I really want to hear, if you're from another country, what do you think are weird things that you see happen in America? If you have been here or you've just seen American YouTubers or American culture on TV, what do you think is weird? I'm genuinely interested. I really want to broaden my mind. I don't have enough money to go overseas right now, so this is the closest I can get. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next week for another brand new video. Later.